The new Game of Thrones spin-off will break a franchise mainstay that has been in place for 14 years. Game of Thrones' ending may have been divisive, but none can deny the overall success of the franchise, nor how it has persevered. Game of Thrones spin-offs like House of the Dragon remain in production, preserving the franchise's longevity. That said, these spin-offs have been known to break a few Game of Thrones records and streaks. The latest of these will come in 2026, which will usher in a major Game of Thrones milestone. The latest franchise installment will return it to a more Game of Thrones-like setting, moving away from the dragon-led dominance of the Targaryens in House of the Dragon. This will all come alongside the ending of a 14-year-old franchise record that earned HBO and Game of Thrones 2 Emmy Awards. Ramin Djawadi isn't composing the score for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Since 2011, the Game of Thrones franchise has had composer Ramin Djawadi at the forefront of all things music. Djawadi is known for composing musical scores for various big projects, be it MCU behemoths like Iron Man and Eternals, or other Hollywood blockbusters like Pacific Rim and Uncharted. In the realm of TV, Djawadi's works include Fallout, Westworld, and Prison Break. However, Djawadi's most iconic musical compositions come from Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. The theme music for the former was the same for the latter, becoming one of the most recognizable TV theme songs in history. This is without mentioning individual tracks now associated with each major house of Westeros. Despite this iconicity, Ramin Djawadi is not returning to compose the score for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the most recent Game of Thrones spin-off set to air in January 2026. Instead, Dan Romer, known for composing musical scores for Pixar's Luca, Disney's Lilo and Stitch remake, and TV shows like Superman and Lois, will be the musical head for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Why Dan Romer's score is the best thing for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms? Although it is somewhat disappointing that Djawadi is not returning for the story of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, this decision may be for the best. The show may be set in the world of Westeros, smack bang between House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones in the timeline, but it has its own identity. The books on which A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is based are often considered to be much lighter in tone than A Song of Ice and Fire or Fire and Blood, which served as the basis for Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, respectively. Therefore, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms will feel much more like a standalone story, featuring mostly new characters, than a sequel to House of the Dragon or a prequel to Game of Thrones. With this new identity will come a new visual language and, of course, a new audio experience. Having Romer compose the score drives home this idea. There were some criticisms that House of the Dragon reused Djawadi's original Game of Thrones theme, with the Targaryen theme from the latter also appearing at length. Now, Romer can forge a new path for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, ending a 14-year streak, yes, but one that allows the show to stand on its own as Sir Duncan the Tall does.